empire. In this very moment I'm king. In this very moment I slay Goliath with the sling. This very moment I bring, put it on everything, that I will retire with the ring, and I will retire with the crown. Yes, no I'm not lucky, I'm blessed. Yes, clap for the heavyweight champ, me. But I couldn't do it all alone. We, Young Money raised me, grew up out in Paisley, Southside Jamaica, Queens, and it's crazy, cause I'm still hood, Hollywood couldn't change me. Shout out to my haters, sorry that you couldn't faze me. Ain't being cocky, we just vindicated. Best believe that when we done this moment we'll be syndicated. I don't know, this night just remind me of everything they deprived me of. Put your drinks up, it's a celebration every time we link up. We done did everything they could think of. Greatness is what we on the brink of. I wish that I could have this moment for life. For life.
Yeah. Welcome back, Don Amiche versus everybody. Krista, Daniel with me. Sweet. A lot of stuff we got to get to today. I think it's time for Nicki Minaj to retire, bow out. I think it's time. Well, no, and I don't say that to be disrespectful. I think that hip-hop music is a very young person's game. And although Nicki Minaj still has it, there are people that are coming up behind her. And I think she took too long of an absence when she had a baby and the breakup with Safari and all this other stuff. So, but I think it's time for her to kind of pass the torch and bring up, and be a producer and bring up younger women, if that's what she wants to do, who embody her spirit and her ideology. We gotta pave a way. We have to kind of elevate ourselves, and in doing that also extend a hand to those who are behind us to bring them up and play in the spot that we played in that made us so great. And I think I think it's time for Nicki Minaj to do that. That's just me though. I don't know if anybody else was like that. A lot of people, they get stuck on their artist and they want to, why not be a rapper for the rest of your life? It's like, no, Nicki, there's levels to this life. You know what I'm saying? Well, why be a rapper when you could be a studio or a record company or a facilitator of new ideas and new music? You know what I'm saying? We can't sit there and stay in the spotlight of this genre, this entity forever, because it's a young person's game. Even Jay-Z will drop an album every so often, but he doesn't keep putting music out. I think 50 Cent called Jay-Z's 444 album golf cart music. Oh, wow. Well, because it's just, and I think 50 Cent is one of the realest individuals you could possibly listen to. He says, listen, it's a young person's game. I mean, he doesn't even drop music. He's elevated himself into producing, making TV shows. He may still do music here and there, which is, you're always going to have that artistry and that want to dibble and dabble in it, but to be the main focus of it, once you reach a certain age, you got to elevate yourself to the next level of life. We got to constantly keep growing and evolving. We can't stay stagnant in a certain place. I mean, if you're a drug dealer in the hood, to put this in layman's terms, if you're the drug dealer on the street corner, you got to elevate yourself to the person, to being the plug. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring the dealers up, the next generation of dealers.
So now we're teaching diversity.
I'm just trying to put it in the way you might some might understand out there. You can't be the dude on the corner forever. You gotta eventually elevate yourself to the plug.
We're code switching.
You know what I'm saying? Code switching is what I'm doing. You gotta elevate yourself to the plug, and then hopefully, you know what I'm saying, once you get to the point where you're not even the plug anymore, you're the guy who the plug goes to. You know what I'm saying? Where your hands are out of it and you just got dollars coming your way. So, Daniel, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm blessed and thankful to be here, man. Excited for today's show and excited for tonight.
Yeah, you were telling me about this this place called, what is it called now?
Novo. Remember AKA Club Nokia? They've changed the name down to
LA Novo.
Live. Yeah, Novo, yes.
No, okay, all right. Yeah. So they're going to be popping tonight down there?
Well, I'm a little eclectic here and there. I'm diversifying my
portfolio. I love it.
You got a little Robert Glasper. You got a little Kamasi Washington and Terrace Martin.
Terrace Martin. I went to school with Terrace Martin. We went to Santa Monica High School together. We were both in the marching band, and we spent a couple of years together out there. I haven't been able to get in contact with him, so if you know him, tell him Don Amiche wants to reach out to him. He probably doesn't remember me as Don Amiche. They used to call me, when I went to Santa Monica High School, Pretty Ricky was what they called me. Pretty Ricky was what they called me. Yeah, it's so funny. I was such a horrible kid back in the day. I went back to Santa Monica High School when I got back to LA from doing the radio tour back in the early 2000s, and I went to the Mr. Sacco, who was the band director. I was like, "You remember me, Mr. Sacco?" He looked at me with such disdain. He looked at me like I was like a piece of crap, which kind of hurt, you know what I'm saying? Because, and I talk about this a lot. You know, I got kicked out of school. Miss Russo kicked me out of school, sent me to continuation to Olympic High School. You know, and a lot of these educators don't really understand they don't really understand, nor did they probably care too much of understanding what a lot of our young kids who are without fathers, broken homes, are going through. And, you know, it may not be behavioral issues, more so a mentor issue. But they don't really care because they're in the process of elevating themselves throughout their career. And so they're trying to sit there and give a performance issue at a school that they're in charge of. So let me get your ass out of here because you're a problem. You know what I'm saying? Instead of really trying to rectify the problem at the root. And listen, you know, who am I to sit there and say, you know, I want a teacher to be a therapist and a whole bunch of other things. I mean, but, you know, it's something that we as a community must address when you have a kid who is kind of what some would consider a bad apple. What's the root of that? Why? What is that? Is this kid just purely evil? Or is this kid lacking direction or anything? And there's so many young kids who get just tossed by the wayside by our educators. But I digress. That was my my upbringing. I fought through all of that. And here I am now on the radio with you, Daniel. You know, and listen, we both have had not similar journeys, but obstacles placed through our youth that we both rose to the occasion. I mean, you are a successful entrepreneur in the city of Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? A successful black man in LA, and you know what I'm saying? Educator on top of that. You are a somebody should be highlighting you right now.
Well, you know, sometimes every story is not a story. I learned that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I learned that from the late rest her soul in peace, Miss Brenda Marsh Mitchell.
Okay.
When my story was first told in the media, and some people was talking to me, and I was sharing with them my testimony, and then I came across another testimony from one of my employees at the time when we first opened, and she was like, "Nah, baby. You know, that story needs to stay house." She said, "I need to teach you a couple of things. Every story is not a story."
I hear that, but and this is probably where me and you differ, because I will take whatever. What you're saying is that there are some things that do not need to be told out there because people will use it against you.
Yeah, that and just in general, like you don't always have to be in your video, so to speak. You don't always have to be in the video. You know what I mean? Sometimes there are acts of kindness. Sometimes there are things that you may do in the community for other people that you don't have to post on social media.
Absolutely.
You don't have to take pictures. You don't have to tell someone. Some things are just better left unsaid because then the sincerity really is genuine. Not to say it's not if you're posting. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying sometimes every story is not a story.
I tend to stick with my story just to give those who. There's always. I'm not the only one who has gone through what I went through, you went through, what Krista has gone through, and so me, when I tell my story, I will stand by it regardless of how anybody feels about it, and will probably, if you don't want to work with me because you feel that I am uncouth or an individual who does not meet what your standards or whatever, then you aren't for me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that I'm always being directed by God, and I'm never going to shy away from the project upbringing, the ignorance that I went through, the intelligence, even the ignorance that I have now to a certain extent. I'm never going to shy away from that because I'm always a person in growth.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. Yes. And I always want to be an example to individuals that no matter how far up the ladder you get and you go throughout your career, that you're still in a level of growth, and then I just want to reach an individual who may have a similar story like mine and say, listen, I got here, so can you. So I'm always going to tell my story, but everybody's different.
Yeah, everybody is different.
You know, I get it, and I do understand that you know, some in our community are a little bit harsh when we want to present a certain level of couth. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to who we are as an individual, but who are we doing that for? Are we doing that for white folk, or are we doing that for us? And that's a bigger question, a bigger conversation. Krista, how are you? Are you feeling okay?
I'm better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But my phone was blowing up last night.
Why was your phone blown up yesterday? I know we had Melrose Larry Green on.
Yeah, and it was just like, I got some serious messages.
All right, well, so listen, we'll talk about that when we come forward. 800-920-1580. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of stuff happening here in Los Angeles. I want to get to this Tiffany Haddish opening a grocery store. I want to get to a movie studio coming here in Los Angeles. We're talking about mid-city L.A. We're going to get to all of that. We're going to take your phone calls, 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk, 1580.
We may be LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. K-O! And we don't black down.
Over 100 million people around the world have felt the thrill of Broadway's most spectacular musical, Disney's The Lion King. And now you can too. Experience this breathtaking theatrical event and see why the New York Times declares there is simply nothing else like it.
Give the gift that roars at the Pantages Theater, February 2nd through March 26th. Visit BroadwayInHollywood.com.
Strengthening the Black Village is a nonprofit offering free, effective Black parenting training to those court-mandated to take parenting courses, and we're open to others. Register for our February 6, 2023 course by calling 323-804-8469. That's 323-804-8469. Visit strengtheningtheblackvillage.org. That's strengtheningtheblackvillage.org.
DionRambo.com. That's me. I am Rambo, teaching you about contracts at the Westin Hotel, December 17th. That's coming up, December 17th. It's all free, sponsored by Linda Street. Listen, this is important. When you go to DionRambo.com, you'll see I have LA County coming, the mayor's office coming, the city coming, prime contractors coming, everyone, and they can only talk for 6 minutes each. I take contracting very serious. You should too. DionRambo.com. See you December 17th. DionRambo.com.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program. Terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, welcome back. Don Amiche versus everybody. Krista and Daniel here. So you got a lot of calls yesterday, Krista?
I did, because my friends listen to the show. And then I talked to Melrose. And
Melrose Larry Green yesterday, Shantae took issue with him, which I didn't really. I know Melrose, and I know that he has an affection for Black women, Black culture, you know what I'm saying? He may be a little ignorant to the nuance of how his verbiage may affect people, Black people who do not know him, because he is a Jew, he's a white Jew guy, you know what I'm saying? But I look at him as a human being, so I didn't take it. It stung a little bit when I heard that, but these are natural emotions that we all feel,
right?
And it's up to your relationship with individuals to put that emotion into a context inside your own mind of like, okay, I understand what he's saying. I also understand what he's doing on the air. He's riffing a little bit.
Of course.
And we've also, listen, I challenged a person to a fight when I first got on the radio. Over the air.
Really?
To come up to the radio station and come see
good.
me. No! Over the whole state of Oklahoma.
Oh.
No.
How embarrassed was I? Yes. You know what I'm saying? So there are things when you're talking on the fly, on the air, it takes a very long time at being a host on a radio show to be able to articulate meaning in a way that is not offensive. I have gotten 70% there. So I also know Melrose. I don't think he has an evil.
You know him personally, and you've met him.
Yeah. And I met him in the early '90s, and I worked on a show with him, and he just. says things that are shocking because that's the background he's from is
shock radio.
Shock radio.
Yeah.
But when he said it, first of all, I was confused who he said it to. I thought he was
Well,
saying
he's-
it to
well,
you.
Oh no, he wouldn't say that to me.
What he said
wasn't
was
sure.
he
He
was
was talking
talking about Sly
Yeah.
from Sly and the Family Stone was his good friend, and he said, Sly, you better get your black ass down to the event that we're having this
Right.
weekend.
And if that's his friend, right? I mean, my question is, if that is your friend, can you talk like that about your friend or to your friend?
But
I mean,
think-
I don't know.
I think so. Even listen, we all talk differently off the air than we do on the air.
Sure.
I think there's a certain level of decorum that we must have for the radio, as to not alienate a lot of people through raw conversation, and we want to create an inviting conversation to a lot of people. So we edit or code or elevate our language so that we have a kind of an articulate conversation here. And I think Melrose was trying to, I think he was taking his personal relationship with Sly, because they probably obviously talk to each other.
Of
like
course.
That.
Yeah.
You know,
This is guy. Yeah.
I mean, because who knows what Sly says to Melrose? You know what I'm saying?
True.
You know what I'm saying?
But you got to think about the masses. And quick story,
Right.
I was on a cruise, a very popular cruise, all African American, 4,000 affluent African Americans, and it was a particular, Caucasian comedian, and he told a slave joke
Oh, wow.
on a cruise,
Yeah.
and he just basically died on stage.
Yeah.
And he had a bad week the rest of the week, and he felt really bad. And they tried to, resuscitate his presence being on the cruise because he didn't get off on the cruise. He stayed on the whole week. And he felt so bad. But you got to know your audience, right?
You do got to know your audience, and then on
Yeah.
top of that, you got to sometimes you can take that shot, and it might work.
It may work.
Depending on if the audience really knows you. If you're a white guy, if you're a white comedian, and your comedy is catered towards black people, you really got to tread lightly.
Like Gary Owens probably could have got away with that.
Gary Owens.
And he's been on the cruise that I'm
And
speaking of.
in the way you tell the joke, and in the preference that you set the
Yes,
joke
yes.
up, and you got to be very careful because black folk, we can get triggered easily.
It sounds like Melrose needs to come on the stage Saturday and maybe introduce Guap player Brian McKnight or Mrs.
He would
Honorable
love that.
Karen Bass, right?
Yeah,
We need to get him on stage.
He would love
right?
that.
He's definitely going to show up.
So what was everybody saying to you? down
I'm not going to mention like the names of the people that call. One of my friends was saying that Melrose is racist, and I said I can say without a doubt that I don't believe he is. From my own personal experience with him, he is not a racist. Another friend of mine felt that Melrose was not given a fair deal because he has called in and he kind of took it. He said kind of like what you did. He was completely shocked by the comment, but he's like, I know Melrose. He's just a shocking person.
And I think Melrose, if you bring it up to him, he'll apologize and say, "I'm sorry for if you know what I'm saying." You gotta. The one thing that I hate that we are in this era that we're in is that we don't give people a chance to reconcile their actions.
Straight cancel, huh?
We would just straight go to we jugular cancel. You're done.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Sometimes people are acting in ignorance or they don't know, and so. I hate that we lose out on teachable moments in so many different ways to where we just want to cancel people, and not just Melrose, but there's so many people that we can teach, and I feel these teachable moments are such more valuable than
Can't
canceling.
learn if you've been canceled, right?
Right.
You got to learn from your mistakes to move forward. Yes, I
Absolutely,
agree.
and
Yes.
it's like, some people may absolutely be ignorant of whatever they're saying, or not understand what their verbiage may affect a community that may be dealing with whatever trauma they're carrying on with them through generations, and we're all carrying trauma, regardless if you're white, black, Armenian,
Everybody has some
Hispanic.
issues.
Everybody has some issues that you can hit a button on, and it doesn't really matter what you are. So I have patience with Melrose. I like him.
Well, it kind of reminds me of there was a station that I was affiliated with back in the day in San Diego, and they had a Halloween party, and there
Was
was
it
this,
Free FM?
Yes,
Okay,
and there
Free
was
FM.
this interracial couple that came, and the guy was a slave, and his girlfriend. No, the guy was the slave master. His girlfriend was a slave. She was black, and he was white, and they came and they did it as a joke. They were not allowed to any more events because there were people, white and black, that were in the audience that were appalled. Fights were about to break out. It was so bad and
Daniel
so
said earlier,
nasty.
you got to know your audience.
Yes.
Know your
And
audience.
you got to know your audience, and although you may think it's funny, and it may be funny in a small group setting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you also got to be aware of the messages that you're sending out to the masses. Like when you're around a massive group of people, everybody doesn't know you. They don't know
More
your
than likely,
personality.
you're not going to know them.
They're not going to know your personality, your character. They don't know if you're a jokester. They don't know. They're just going to look at you and form an opinion off their subconscious working in 2 seconds. And you're racist. Oh my God, I can't believe they do that. How could this black woman do this? Or is she being oppressed? Is she okay? You know what I'm saying?
And that's why you have to do your homework. And a lot of people are entitled themselves within their own utopias. And you have to understand, when you step foot out in the street in the world, it's not about you.
No.
You have to assimilate in some form of capacity throughout your day, regardless, right?
This is
You
the
have to
hardest.
assimilate.
Let me tell you something, Dan. This is the hardest part of my life. I don't want to assimilate.
Yeah, me neither. I don't want to
I
assimilate
don't want to
either.
assimilate. And you
I
know what?
agree.
It's tough.
I've lost out on
So many things.
so many things because I don't want to assimilate, but there's a piece of me to where I just want to stay true to who I am in all regards, and I feel it feels weird when I start trying to assimilate into another. It feels fake. And I've been trying to learn, and it's not. There is a way to do it without feeling fake, and I think that's a skill that I'm trying to get better at, to assimilate into another thing, maybe tone down my personality a little bit, and just shut up.
No, it's okay, because if you think about it, those of us that are a little older, I don't want to date myself, but if you're watching 8 is Enough, Leave It to Beaver, you're watching a specific show. If it wasn't a Partridge Family was on the road, right?
Yeah,
on the bus.
yeah.
They were traveling,
Yeah.
right? But we got used to people just going to the store, going to school, coming home to the living room on most of the shows growing up, right? Remember when the Jeffersons went to Hawaii?
No, the Jeffersons
I
went to
didn't see
Hawaii.
that episode.
Man.
Oh, no.
Yes, man. You know, good times, they kind of stayed stagnant in
Yeah,
the
they
community.
stayed in the hood,
right?
Yeah.
But the Jeffersons, they went to Hawaii. It was an episode.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It was
Oh, I don't
phenomenal,
remember
man.
that. Yeah.
So remember, we would be like, "Oh man, they traveled, right?"
Yeah.
Remember when Love Boat went place to place? They would get off from
Yeah.
port here.
Yeah,
and
it's
there.
exciting.
So that's how life is.
Yeah.
Right. When we're from Los Angeles and you just go here to there. I went to this high school. I work here. I work at the DMV. I work at the county building. I work wherever. Not slighting those 2 places I just named.
Yeah.
Because sensitive
Yeah.
people. Shout out to my DMV
Absolutely.
people working for the county. But what I'm saying is, it's good to go to Santa Barbara.
Of course.
It's good to go to San Diego
Yes, it
County.
is.
It's down the street. Let's go to Ventura County.
So what you're saying
Come on.
is learn the language
Learn
of Santa
the
Barbara.
language. Learn the language of just Southern California of life. Learn the language of travel, right? You go to New York, you go to Arizona, you go to, I don't want to offend nobody. People are mad at Florida, but I love Florida too. You go to Martha's Vineyard, you travel the world,
Yeah.
right? But let's learn, not just go point A to point B.
Also,
right?
I think too that it's important not to shame somebody because they like to go to other places. Because I know, growing up, I had a segment of friends that if I decided I love Santa Barbara and I've always wanted to move to Santa Barbara, oh, you're one of them. What do you mean I'm one of them?
Here
What do you
we go.
mean one of them? And
Here we go.
I've heard that my whole
you probably dealt with
life.
that. I was just knowing you being biracial probably dealt with, and this is another thing that some people don't really who come from both black parents. Both me and Krista are from biracial relationships.
Colorism.
You know what?
We gotta stop
It's
that.
it's one of those things to where we're like we don't fit in some places, and it feels weird. We identify as black, but then some black people, not all, some black people were like, oh, you're not black enough. You're not black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
And-
of how you move.
Because how you move, and then white
Yeah.
people are like, "You're not white." You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And so you're in this weird space of like, I don't fit in anywhere.
And
Now, that's a story you got to tell.
Yeah,
though,
and that's
right?
that's a story that I do
Yeah, it's a
tell
story you gotta
because
tell,
it is frustrating, it is infuriating, and it is very, 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 very painful. My daughter's experiencing that as well, and we've had to sit down and have some talks, and I've shared my
Your daughter
experience.
could pass as Latina, though. You
Well,
know?
most people think she is
Yeah.
Latina, but we've had to have these talks because she's going through the pains of it, and it makes me mad because I'm like, I thought we were going to be further along by now.
No,
We're
no.
not,
Listen, we're going to get to Mel Rose, who's on the phone when we come forward. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
We don't try to be all things to all people. We just remain true to who we are. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Top lawmakers are celebrating the passage of the Respect for Marriage Act.
Protecting from bigoted extremism, defending the inviolability of the same-sex and interracial marriages.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the bill was needed to uphold marriage equality under federal law. New York City is still on the hunt for its rat czar. African-American Mayor Eric Adams says he's fixated on killing rats, adding they take up residency in every neighborhood across the 5 boroughs. The city posted a job listing last week that says the position carries a salary of $170,000 a year. Illinois Governor Pritzker is celebrating the opening of its first social equity dispensary in the state. The governor attended the grand opening of the Ivy Hall dispensary yesterday in Chicago. The new Bucktown Cannabis dispensary is co-owned by a black father and son. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
LAX southbound Sepulveda Boulevard between Century and the 105. We've got only the right lane open due to a work zone, and it's got traffic jam from Lincoln Boulevard. In Cedar Creek, southbound San Gabriel Road between Crystal Lake and East Fork Road, that is closed until 7 o'clock for emergency repairs. We've got a lot of work zones to look out for today. In downtown on the eastbound 10 at Hoover, that off-ramp blocked off until 3 o'clock. In Sylmar, westbound 210, the transition to the southbound 5 also blocked off until 3 o'clock, as well as the truck route connector to the northbound 5.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
294 days of agony, heartache, and frustration has come to an end. That's the number of days WNBA star Brittany Griner was held in captivity in Russia for alleged drug possession. A deal apparently had been worked out 2 days ago when Russian authorities removed Griner from the prison colony to prepare for her return. Griner is en route to the U.S. and should be back in the country sometime tomorrow. In exchange for Griner, the U.S. released Russian arms dealer Victor Bout. It might not seem like an equal trade, but the bottom line is that Griner is on her way home. In terms of fairness, it wasn't right for a reported minor violation to turn into a 9-year sentence. Welcome home, BG. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're a slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
If you're the victim of a car accident, call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review.
Call on me, your MVP.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Bring in the new year with Cat Williams. He's coming to Ontario in the Toyota Arena December 30th. And in Los Angeles in the Microsoft Theater December 31st.
I don't know what I'm going to do about this light bill. Just hit the blunt one time and see if it don't change your perception of what's important in your life. You just, I don't know what I'm going to do about this life. I got 12 candles. I've been waiting to burn them.
He's back with an all-new show. It's the award-winning comedian, Cat Williams.
Just so you knew they was lying, they said some next that don't even make mathematical sense. They said there's a chicken wing shortage, but we got plenty thighs.
Cat Williams with his special guests, Mark Curry, Tommy Davidson, Tony Roberts, Daphne Springs, and Pretty Ricky. In Ontario, get tickets at Ticketmaster. In Los Angeles at AXS.com. Bring in the new year with Cat Williams.
California has millions of homes that could be damaged in a strong earthquake, and earthquakes are inevitable in the Golden State. An older home is especially vulnerable to earthquake damage, so you may need to take steps to strengthen it and help reduce the chance of damage. Visit strengthenmyhouse.com to learn about better protecting your home from earthquake damage. The work may cost less than you think and can often be completed in a few days. You've worked hard to get a home. Now's the time to protect it. Get prepared today so you can worry less tomorrow. Visit strengthenmyhouse.com.
At Cedars-Sinai, we're honored to be named the #1 hospital in California and the #2 hospital in the nation in U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals Honor Roll. We're also proud to be named #1 in 6 specialties in Los Angeles. Thank you to our physicians, nurses, academic leaders, and thousands of other team members who bring their best to Cedars-Sinai every day. Learn more about our top-ranked care at cedars-sinai.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you a happy holiday and wants to bless you with one night only. A Wonder Winter's Night presented by Stevie Wonder's House Full of Toys benefit concert. Saturday, December 17th at Microsoft Theater. Download the KBLA Talk 1580.com mobile app to enter to win a pair of tickets. This has been a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce a can't-miss community event.
It's a celebration.
Welcome home, Mayor-elect Karen Bass.
You gotta be kidding me.
On Saturday, December 10th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., join KBLA Talk 1580 in Leimert Park at the intersection of Leimert and Vernon for this free public event as we celebrate Mayor-elect Bass's historic victory. There'll be live performances from Brian McKnight, Guapale, Club Nouveau, and more. There'll be food trucks and a diverse array of vendors along with the attendance and participation from community leaders, elected officials, celebrities, business owners, and other notables. KBLA Talk 1580 will host Mayor-elect Bass on the main stage at 11 a.m. as we reflect on the importance of this moment and what it means for the Black community, women, and all Angelinos who believe in the limitless potential of our amazing city. We look forward to celebrating with Mayor-elect Karen Bass and you, Saturday, December 10th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the intersection of Leimert and Vernon.
It's a celebration.
This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on, come on.
We've got a lot to talk about. This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Let's go to Melrose Larry Green, who caused so much controversy on the radio yesterday. Melrose, he's going to be sad.
Don.
Look, he's going to be sad. Yes, Melrose. I love you, right?
No.
You know I love you. I want to preface this conversation before we even talk with, I love you, and I'm not mad at you or anything like that, okay? You're always welcome on the show.
Good.
Okay.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
What I got to do is tell you really straight up. Okay. I apologize yesterday to Shantae and anybody else that might have been offended by my comment. I told Krista this morning, I called her at home, and I told her, I said, when I'm on the radio, sometimes I take off like automatic pilot. Okay? I sometimes don't even know what I'm saying. So I apologize for any words that were taken the wrong way, but I want to indicate to everybody out there, because I love this radio station and I value the fact that you give me this tremendous forum for this great community here in L.A. Even though Shantae did not call me a racist, I infer that from her. She was offended. She was offended. And, I'm sorry, and I apologize to her, and, I do believe that anyone that knows me knows that I don't have a racist bone in my body. What my comment that I made was something like Howard Stern used to always say that. That's exactly, if you must know. And one rule in radio, you don't bring up the name of other hosts on the radio, but I already brought up his name. I love this station. I have thoughts, fantasies of working for KBLA at some point down the road on the air. And I really felt that this hysteria yesterday would get to Elston Howard Butler and Tavis Smiley. And I don't want that. This is like the happiest week of my life. I love Karen Bass. You know that. And I was there on Juneteenth with my signs. I've been looking forward all week to this. And I'm going to be there because I'm not going to give anybody else a victory lap on this. I'm going to be there. and I'm probably going to be the first one there, like I was the first one at the Nile Cafe on Market Street in Inglewood. You can ask Elston Howard Butler. I was there with him.
You were.
And the other guys. Yeah. And when I met you,
What was that?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I'm saying that I was the first one there at the Nile Cafe, that promo the day after Juneteenth or before Juneteenth. I love the radio station, but I will never tolerate anybody even inferring that I have a racist bent. I do not. And I'm a big boy. Now, I really, at one point, didn't want to even come to this thing Saturday after yesterday.
No,
but after you told me,
Melrose, stop it. Melrose, listen.
Okay,
stop,
you like
listen,
me. That's
listen.
all.
Melrose, stop it. Shantae is baby Antifa. And so,
Shantae,
all right.
no.
Listen, you got to understand that black people, we're not a monolith. There are so many different aspects of us. Some that are a little bit more pro black, and some that are that move in different circles. And so for me, in this show, I want everybody to be involved in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, this is a station owned by a black owner, and it's a progressive radio station, but there is no shade that you have to be to listen to it. We welcome your support, and you've been supporting us since the inception of this radio station. And I want to say thank you, and I love you. And you're always going to be welcome. And if anybody has a problem with that, they need to come see me, because I'm always going to stick up for you. I know who you are. I wouldn't put you on this radio station and allow you on the show you or any type of racist or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. So don't.
And I appreciate Daniel's comments, and I thank you for those comments, Daniel. I have a lot to learn.
And listen, and here's the thing: don't mistake us having a conversation that is all about you. You may have sparked the conversation that we had on the air, but it turned into kind of a debate, and us kind of pontificating on the air and stretching out thought, which is what I do a lot. We may take you as the catalyst for the conversation, but the conversation is not all on your shoulders. It may spark the conversation. We may debate it. We may talk about it. We may stretch it out in different ways. And it's more so of trying to really bring understanding to different perspectives and different people out there listening. There may be a lot more Melrose Larry Greens out there who are like you, who may have learned something about the whole situation. So it's not necessarily like we're whooping you on the air or anything like that. I don't want you to think like that. If I thought you were any type of racist or any type of person who really wanted to do any damage to this radio station, I would never have you on. But Melrose, I appreciate your love. I appreciate your willingness to do anything to spread the word of KBLA all throughout the city of Los Angeles, from Hollywood to Larchmont to South Bay, to wherever you go. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
Don, one thing I just want to say real quick, because I know time is short. I am so thrilled for Karen Bass, and I have a personal reason for that. My mother never got to go to medical school back in the 1930s because it was very tough for Jewish women to get into medical school. Never became an MD. She was a brilliant scientist. My mother, Augusta Greenblatt, and I'm almost in tears right now, would have been thrilled to know that Karen Bass, an African-American woman, is the mayor of the city that her son lives in. And I will not have any Trump stuff with me on Saturday. No hats, no T-shirts, no mentions. This is about Karen Bass and my mother, Augusta Greenblatt. And I love you guys.
Well, listen,
Melrose,
listen.
I'm sorry.
Listen, listen, I don't, and here's another thing. For those of us who think opposite of what the mainstream is, you can like Trump all you want. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to feel like you're bad.
Guys.
But I don't want you to feel bad or feel like you need to go duck in a hall because you like Trump.
Okay.
These are differences of opinions, and I think that conversation on the air and through the community will help us understand why you like Trump, and then why maybe we like Joe Biden. And maybe we can find some common ground to which we both can grow through conversation and dialogue. I would never expect you to come out here because of what you've said time and time again. I didn't. Karen Bass wasn't my candidate, but and I want to point this out. Karen Bass wasn't my candidate, but she's the mayor of Los Angeles, and I'm going to support her because I want to see her be successful. And I think that coming from your lips is something that people need to recognize and respect at the end of the day.
I love her.
And this is the
She's
dialogue
wonderful.
that we need to have with our brothers and sisters who are opposite in our political beliefs.
Yes.
For them to say, listen, my candidate didn't win, but you know what? I don't want Karen Bass to suffer. I want to give her the best opportunity to support. Maybe she'll change my mind. Maybe she won't. But you know what? I don't want, if she fails, that means LA fails.
And it's a teaching moment.
It's a teaching moment, yeah.
You know, and sometimes, like I said earlier, every story is not a story.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do too much. Sometimes we need to keep things to ourselves in order to pull the cart, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, if we all care about our communities, if the objective is to empower people and unify people, why would we say something or do something that would create discord, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a particular candidate that you voted for, that's between you, that pencil, and that piece of paper, and that voting poll. Nobody should know that. For you to tell someone, especially a candidate that might not be worthy, we're like, why are we saying that and doing that? It's over. Support the candidate that's in office now and move forward, right? Like, you can't do too much, right?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, though. I think, Daniel, that's a great teachable moment that we're having right here is that regardless of who you voted for in the election, look at what we got in front of our face right now, and let's be supportive of that. You know what I'm saying? Until another election time comes up, and then you have a chance to make a decision again.
Can I say something, too, that I've known people, a good friend of mine, she lost half of our friends because she's a Trumper. Her and her husband are Trumpers. And I'm the one who didn't just not like her, because I don't really care who you vote for as long as you vote. That's how I look at it, as long as you exercise your right to vote, because it's none of my business, and I don't want to know. I'll be honest, I don't want to know.
Those Trumpers can learn a lesson from what Daniel just said right here, that regardless of whether your candidate lost, let's get on board for the candidate who won.
True.
And help them become a success, because at the end of the day, whoever won is affecting all of us at the end of the day. And that goes for both sides of the spectrum, right and left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate you. I appreciate different opinions that are not necessarily my ideology, because, Melrose, everything how you view the world is a way I can learn. And that's another,
and
to
Don,
me, that's a very important thing for this show.
Very important.
About Mark Ridley Thomas,
yeah.
If you ever meet him or talk with him, I know him from when I ran for mayor 30 years ago. I knew him. He has twins. He's a wonderful guy. And I'm so proud of Tavis, the way he went to bat for Mark Ridley Thomas. And Maxine Waters, I know her too when I ran for mayor. And when I ran for mayor, the only people that let me debate were the black communities. I went down to Rosa Parks, to Nickerson Gardens, Jordan Downs. And I want to say this on the radio, so all the millions that are listening to you right now all over the world, I want to work with Maxine Waters and Mark Ridley Thomas and Marquis, the councilman in your district over here, and Curran Price and everybody else to get rid of the problems that are plaguing the city, the homelessness, the mental illness, the crime. And thank you for this forum. And I just want to reach out to anyone that might have been hurt by my comments. I don't know what it is to be black, but by listening to KBLA, I'm getting a feeling.
Exactly. I love that. And that's a good ending now. Don't bring it up no more. It's over.
All right, Melrose, we love you. We'll see you this weekend. Be safe, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, talk to you later.
That was so nice of him that he cares. Anytime, because a lot of people do things in life and they just think it's about them and they're entitled and they like, whatever. I just pooped all over the floor. I don't care.
No,
he calls and he's caring, right?
I was going to say, when he called me,
personally,
first he reached out to me last night, but I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't going to talk to anybody. Then when he called me early this morning, I was like, this really means a lot to him to just vent. And he did. And he's like, me, I'm not. I mean, he was really, really upset. And he was worried that his people would perceive him as a racist. So he was, and I said, I hope you don't not go to the event, because he was on the fence about going to the event. I said, I hope you don't not go. You should still go to the event. But I'm glad he called in.
No, I think there's some in our community who just do not want any type of allies outside of it, or they want the allies to be quiet. And me, I'm like, let's all come together. I'm kumbaya.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, don't let baby Antifa, Shantae, keep you away. All right. Listen, more of this conversation we're having. Great. A lot of stuff to talk about today. We're going to get to all of it. We're going to take your phone calls, your open mics, 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Study reveals barriers to mental health for Black and Latina women in California. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. A poll conducted by Eviteris, sponsored by Black Women Organized for Political Action and Hispanas Organized for Political Equity, found that 77% of some 800 women participants experienced some form of discrimination due to personal characteristic. More than 3 in 5 respondents have had mental health concerns for which they did not seek care. These same women reported often having had negative experiences with providers. 70% of Black women and 54% of Latinas reported racial or ethnic discrimination. Another 59% of Black women and 55% of Latinas report assumptions were made about their income and education levels. 40% of Latinas reported discrimination based on assumptions about their ability to communicate in English, while 28% reported assumptions about their documentation or immigration status. I'm Maisha Cairo, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
Congratulations to Trinity Unlimited Childcare for being KBLA Talk 1580's Office of the Week. Into your business today in the KBLA app or KBLA1580.com for the Office of the Week. Congratulations to Trinity Unlimited Childcare.
Central Neighborhood Health Foundation is a full-service network of federally qualified health care centers that serves local communities throughout Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. CNHF clinics provide low-cost to no-cost, compassionate, comprehensive, quality health care, which includes primary care services for chronic disease and diabetes management, pediatric and women's services, preventive care, vision and dental screenings, COVID-19 testing and vaccines, flu vaccines, behavioral health, HIV, and substance use services. Virtual telehealth visits are available from the comfort of your home with highly qualified physicians and medical professionals. CNHF also provides peer support specialist training and help with housing navigation. Central Neighborhood Health Foundation. Your wellness is our priority. Comprehensive care built on trust and respect. For more information, visit cnhfclinics.org or call 213-536-5815 today to locate a clinic near you.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with one of the panelists, the owner of Kids Love. Take a listen.
So Kids Love, KIDSLUV, is a first-to-market zero-sugar, vitamin-enhanced functional beverage for kids.
So the zero sugar is really important because if not, the sugar gets on the teeth, it can cause cavities. So as a mom, I love this. Vitamins and hydration in one. Tell us what's happening here with Chase Bank today.
So I would say, I think what Chase is trying to do is create a community, actually, for entrepreneurs, a place where people can go. They have the space to do it. It's a beautiful space. And to be able to have these conversations. There are so many benefits to being a women-owned and certified business, from a standpoint of getting into stores, not paying the slotting fees of what it takes to be in stores. So I think Chase is trying to bring awareness to a lot of the things that people just don't know about, that not only the bank can help, but outside of the bank, their relationships can help create.
That's beautiful. And I know, this is how we build equity in communities of color, is kind of spreading that information and that knowledge. So thank you for being here today and doing your part and letting these women know that it is possible. For KBLA 1580, I'm Maisha Cairo in the community with Chase.
East West Players brings you the stage play Brothers Paranormal by Prince Gomovilas, directed by Jeff Liu, November 17th through December 11th. After a nationwide increase in sightings of Asian-looking ghosts, 2 Thai brothers, one from Thailand and one from the American Midwest, struggle to launch a ghost hunting business and are called to the home of an African-American couple displaced from Hurricane Katrina. This suspenseful, humorous, compassionate exploration of the trauma of leaving home, whether crossing the country, the globe, or the other side, is a play for everyone. Get tickets now through December 11th at eastwestplayers.org. eastwestplayers.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours, now through December 20th. All of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net, and together we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Daniel, you've been in the relationship game for a minute. Maybe you can give me some advice here. My girlfriend is mad at me.
Again?
Oh, wow. For what?
I snapped at her last night.
Really?
So I came home, and I was like, you ever been so tired you can't, like, talk?
Or function.
Or function.
Yes.
And I said, I'm tired. I mean, it takes, a lot of people don't understand, talking on the radio for 3 hours is like, once again, juggling water. It's very hard to do. You get good at it over time. I mean, I've been in this industry almost 30-some years. But it's exhausting. But my girlfriend, like, is at home with her kids, and so she wants a little conversation. And my brain just wasn't working last night. And wow. I told her, I said, baby, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm very tired. And then my girlfriend has a tendency when I'm tired to ask me to do things. You know, which for the most part I'll do. But we've had a conversation before where I said, listen, when I get lack of sleep, so like for the past 3-4 days, I haven't been able to sleep throughout the whole night. So I'm tired constantly because my brain hasn't got a chance to shut off and shut down. And so I'm irritable when I'm like sleepy and tired. And I've told her this before. But, you know, she wanted to fix me some steaks, and I said, you don't have to fix me anything. I'm good. I'm not hungry. I'm tired. You know, and then she wanted me to get up to put the, what is that little meter, that little that thing you put in steaks?
The thermometer?
She's like, can you put this steak for me? I was like, you know, and then I snapped at her. I said, is there anything else you want me to do?
Oh, wow.
Well, because
you're being sarcastic.
No. Well, no, my girlfriend has a tendency to ask me to do multiple things. Not all at once, but within like 3 minutes of each other.
That's what happens in the kitchen, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you think, Don, you was going to do one thing? You got to know your arena too, boss.
And that's why. And that's why I said, is there anything else you need me to do?
You can't say that. When you're in the kitchen and you're helping out, or you're in a house, you're going to be able to do anything at any given time. Like you think you about to kick it with the remote? You're in a house.
I wasn't even trying to kick it with the remote. I was just trying to kick it with my head on my hand before I was asleep. I just needed like an hour or two to recuperate, so I can kind of refresh myself to wake up, and then I can talk. You know what I'm saying? But she got mad because I snapped at her.
You probably should have had a sit down when you came in, feeling that way.
But was the sit down not me saying? Because I said, hey, I'm tired. She was like, I want to fix some steaks, and I'm like. She was like, but you need to take the trash out first. I said, listen, you don't have to fix the steaks, but I'll still take the trash out. I said, I'm good. I'm tired right now.
So let me tell you something. So when you're an athlete or you're coaching, right, and you know, when you come home, people know that you're tired because of what you do,
right,
and they understand it because they see it, they smell it, and they can taste it. A lot of people don't understand your craft, maybe, because they think it's easy to come to a studio, get on the mic, and be a host and do talk radio.
Hold that thought, because I want to hear this, because maybe you can give me some game here, because maybe I'm missing a step. More of this conversation when we come forward. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Brittany Griner is headed back home where she belongs. Griner was exchanged for Victor Bout, a Russian arms dealer. Earlier this fall, a Russian court upheld Griner's drug conviction and 9-year prison sentence after screeners found vape cartridges containing a small amount of hashish in her luggage at a Moscow airport. The nation's capital is suing Amazon. D.C. African-American